Here's a shot of Yonge and Dundas Square, downtown Toronto. That's right outside our building. Good morning, Toronto. Good morning, Canada. Welcome back to BT. John Paul, Tammie, Sid here with you. We're going three wide. Now, we're going to take a moment here and bring you up to speed on what went down Friday. And I know when we get together on the Monday, sometimes the news cycle on Friday seems a bit distant. But I think this is one we have to kind of reset for everyone because it is significant. And I know there's a lot of Trump fatigue, and I know there's a lot of kind of legal Trump fatigue. I got news for you. Neither are going anywhere. And what happened Friday, in my opinion, is right now at the top of the mountain in terms of his legal issues for obvious reasons. So he will be arraigned tomorrow in Miami. That's going to be a scene. 37 charges were laid and unsealed on the former president of the United States on Friday. The U.S. Department of Justice included 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information, and then a bunch of single counts of lying and conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. But the 31 counts here are unbelievable because this goes back to the story that really came to a head late last year of all these national security documents in the United States that were being held at his really tacky resort in Mar-a-Lago. And to me, the headline Friday were the pictures themselves that were unsealed that the feds down in the States, look at how he's storing these documents. That's the washroom.
It's a bathroom, yeah.
That's next to the toilet. Is he using documents like as toilet paper? Like, that's unbelievable. And you're going to see several more photos here that were unsealed Friday. That is like on stage. He has a room with a stage. That says enough about Mar-a-Lago. But they're just being held there like he just moved in. And like by the way, this is a storage room. There's a copier on the right there. I don't know if you can see the white thing.
Yeah.
If that's not the most incriminating part of this, he has a copier next to national security documents. And reportedly, some of the things that are in these indictments are plans in terms of Iran, war plans.
War plans, attack plans.
From a nuclear standpoint, where America is soft and where they're vulnerable. Look at this. And he was showing these to a bunch of people. He had no clearance to show these to anybody. But this is at the root of the discussion here. To no one's surprise, over the weekend, Trump said he's not going anywhere. He right now is the leader in the Republican nomination race. Ron DeSantis has gotten into it. Well, things get going in earnest next January when they go to New Hampshire and they go to Iowa and they figure out who's going to take on Joe Biden in that next presidential election. But Tam, I'm like, two things. This isn't going to stop Trump.
No.
Because nothing can stop Trump.
No.
We figured this out already. If the Access Hollywood thing didn't stop Trump, I don't know what's going to stop Trump. But under the Espionage Act, this is a new thing. Like, this is a whole different level to me. I just can't believe the photos that they unsealed and the amount of people that are still defending Trump within his own party. This is bizarre. This is bizarre.
It's bizarre, and the thing that the photos does right now is it paints a picture of just how many documents. I think when the actual seizure happened and the raid happened, people were thinking, it was like a file folder in a safe somewhere, and this is, it was being protected. He took some documents maybe he shouldn't have, but it was being stored the correct way. And now when you see how many documents, just the sheer volume is shocking alone, much less where they're being stored, just anywhere willy-nilly all over the house. And this is in an estate that I would presume would have better storage areas rather than a bathroom, let's say, like a gold toilet. Like this is actually literally things being stored beside a toilet.
I mean, he might like to do some reading when he goes in. I mean, some people take their phones in. He takes classified documents. You know what I mean? But it's insane to me that, like, how do you not notice this many documents leaving wherever it is, the White House or whatever? Because this is a lot of boxes.
It is a lot.
So aside from the boxes, I just want to, because it wasn't just the boxes. The boxes were moved. The boxes were shifted around. He's facing single counts of false statements, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding documents on record, corruptly concealing a document in a federal investigation, and a scheme to conceal. I got a closing thought, but logistically, Tam, where do you hear it? Because these are federal charges he's facing tomorrow. is he just walking out of that jail tomorrow?
Well,
Or are they going to keep him there to make a point?
And that's the thing, we don't know. So a couple things we don't know is whether or not when he goes into court, is he going to be photographed at all? Because typically in federal court in the States, they don't do that. It's not going to be like a situation where there are cameras rolling inside court, much like it was in New York when he was indicted there. So we don't know whether or not we're going to see anything, if he's going to be photographed or a mugshot be put out, fingerprinted. We don't know that. Also, when it comes to bail, we just don't know whether or not they're going to consider this a special case because he is not considered to be a flight risk technically. He is just too high profile. He is still running for the presidency. Yeah. And so there is that element where they may just say, you know what, he can walk out the door because he's followed by the Secret Service anyway. And how are we going to lose him? We can't. True. It's impossible. So we'll see.
Because if he runs and he wins, they can't jail him until post.
The charges go away.
Oh, the charges go away.
If he becomes president again, they can't touch him.
Oh, wow.
They really can't touch him.
Wow. And that is great TV, by the way.
It's going to be, that's going to, but I'm debating what they do with him tomorrow.
Right.
I don't know if it's a catch and release, and that happens a lot in and around Florida. Yeah. There's a lot of fishing going on in Florida. But the last thing I'll say is there's a lot of Hillary Clinton discussion going on here because her servers had a lot of confidential stuff and classified information. And I hear a lot of people go, well, what about Hillary? That information came out before the election. It cost Hillary the election.
Correct.
I don't want to hear what happened about Hillary.
Correct.
She suffered something that very few of us have ever had to deal with, which is losing a presidential election when you were ahead in the polls.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Don't tell me she didn't suffer anything. I guarantee you she did. Maybe she wasn't formally charged, but it really, both are equally damaging. We'll see how this plays out. Tam will have all the coverage and news tomorrow.
And just to note, the judge in charge of this case is a Trump appointee. This is where it gets messy too, right? So we'll see.
Kind of valid.
Again, great TV.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Totally great.
Right here on
Totally awesome.
Breakfast Television.
Totally awesome.
We're going to